here, that they would lose the democratic freedoms they have here that no one has in China. And I'm looking right now as protesters are they're taking apart metal barriers, taking them into this government building, the Legislative Council building. What they're telling us is they can get up to the third floor of the building. They're trying to get to the main chambers room in the building. It's a very symbolic, the heart of the government, if you will. Imagine them trying to get into the West Wing of the White House. This would be the Hong Kong equivalent of that. I can taste some of the sort of tear gas, pepper spray, more accurately, that's being used on protesters inside the police. But what we're able to see from here, what they've been telling us from those coming out, is they're not in a direct confrontation with the police inside, and this is what we've seen playing out through the day. The tensions rising, the ebb and flow, and I see a lot of people flowing out now, and I guess that has a lot to do possibly with that pepper spray that I think we can taste here. But the sheer force of numbers has forced the doors, the thick glass windows here that have been steadily smashed down by barricades, metal bars, crates of rocks through the day. By sheer force of numbers and force of will, they've managed to break into this government building. But now, again, this seems to be another moment in the day where they've gotten in, but what's the next moment? And when we ask them what their plan is, they say quite simply, Jim, they feel that this is the moment that they have to say something, show how they feel, because if they don't, then they feel this is the moment where all could be lost for them. Perhaps that sounds an overly dramatic statement, but as you can see, so many of these protesters are young, and I think this night has a long way to go yet, Jim.
Nick, I have to tell you, to see you right in the middle of that there is truly remarkable. And the way you framed it, the equivalent of protesters battling their way into the West Wing of the White House. Hong Kong police were criticized at protests in recent weeks for a heavy hand. There was tear gas, there were batons, there were arrests. Do you see their police reluctant to react too aggressively here in light of that?
I think there are two reasons, potentially, for that being the case. Clearly, the police brutality became the narrative of that massive protest on the 12th of June, when the police suddenly turned on the protesters. The narrative today, and I've been at the front of the protesters smashing the windows, the police on the inside have turned their own cameras on the protesters. So I think what we're going to see over time, no thank you, you're offering me a helmet, and I'll just turn that down for now. The narrative that we'll see emerge today is one where the protesters' violence becomes a narrative, as well as the police standing back. So where the police were counterproductive to the political will of the chief executive here, Carrie Lam, to get that bill forced through government here. She's been forced to suspend the bill for now. This seems to be an effort by the police to avoid that confrontation and avoid escalating the political tensions, to give the government a chance ultimately to bring that bill back, because this is a government that is in the favorable light with Beijing. And it is ultimately Beijing's will and writ that will fall upon Hong Kong. What these people are protesting is that should never come to pass. That's what it's all about today, Joe.
What we just saw going to lead to this part in the IPEC Gloat 2 video. A repeat of Tiananmen Square. Do we think the Chinese government is going to send out the military again in some form, whether that's with tanks or just with military weapons? But again, the situation that's going down in Hong Kong at the moment has the potential to lead to conflict similar to what occurred in Tiananmen Square. That was in 1989, which was forcibly suppressed on June 4th. So, in collaboration with the fireworks that we see behind, possibly having a reference to Independence Day, which is either July 4th or July 2nd, tomorrow or 3 days away. Could be that things escalate in Hong Kong up to that point where the situation devolves into a Tiananmen Square style event. And obviously, we just had Donald Trump over in North Korea. A lot of us think that this rich skeleton has a representation or connection with Donald Trump, and he was just over there, first president to cross into the DMZ, so that's very significant. Obviously, Trump is doing a lot of very significant things, whether they're good or bad, depends on how you view them. But while all that's going on, Russia is offering Iran advanced S-400 air defense weapons. This is what they've given to Syria, and the reason why Israel had to start using tanks in order to launch their attacks on Iranian targets in Syria. So Moscow invites Tehran to bid for S-400 air defense systems. Neither the US nor Israeli figures in those reports. Or last week's deployment of the US F-22 stealth jets to Qatar, aimed at tense US-Iran standoff. Amid a tense US-Iran standoff, the Russian Federal Service of Military Technical Cooperation Military Cooperation Service was quoted as announcing, "We are open for discussions on delivering S-400 Triumph air defense systems, including to Iran. Received an official request from our partners on this matter yet." Clearly, Iran is capable of producing its own air defense systems, as demonstrated with the downing of the US drone, but they may be interested in the S-400 defense system. It is an advanced system and would threaten fighter jets like the F-22, which has obviously been, as it says in this report, placed in Qatar last week amid the tensions between the United States and Iran. And just to tip it off, in relation to the power outage and the blackout that I've been talking about and the potential for that being caused by a cyber attack, maybe as soon as tomorrow, I've looked at the possibility of that happening in Texas, Florida, and New York. I don't think all three at the same time, though, the possibility, but potentially one of those somewhere between now and July 4th, Independence Day references. But Iran's aggressive cyber operations multiplied in recent weeks, and then again this past week, the US Department of Homeland Security, Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency Director Christopher Creeves told the Jerusalem Post on Wednesday. They need some commas in that. Krebs spoke to the Post on the sidelines of Tel Aviv University's Cyber Week conference, while Krebs leaves questions to the Pentagon about how successful the US or Iranian cyber attacks were against one another in the unusually public recent cyber warfare exchange. He made it clear that the Islamic Republic had escalated twice compared to its normal activity. Now, obviously, the United States is well equipped to defend against cyber attacks, but there have been successful infiltrations, as has been reported, and those have generally been from Russia or China, but Iran is very capable cyber-wise as well, so that's something to look out for in the next coming days. It all does seem to be related to the power grid, but there's also an interpretation I did a little while ago where it could be connected to the London transport network. For example, the tracks not switching, trains colliding into each other, and that sort of scenario. So, with all that said, you guys have good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.